And that's where AI comes into it. AI, I think, is really exciting, but I am nervous because it doesn't replace the fact that you can't touch the skin and you can't see the skin.
Welcome to the Pro Beauty Pod. I'm Eve, editor of Professional Beauty, and together with my team, we'll be bringing you insight and opinion on the hottest issues and the latest developments in beauty, spa, nails and aesthetics, as well as chatting with industry leaders and innovators about the secrets of their success. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoy it.
Really excited today to have with me Fiona Brackenbury. Most of you will know her. She's done a lot over her career in the beauty industry, product formulation, training, content creation, a mentor to many in the industry. So, I mean, Fiona, can you tell us a little bit about that, really? I suppose, how did you kind of start your journey and what drew you to skincare in the first place?
Okay, well, I think, like many, I started as a therapist, and actually Centre Parks was my first actual kind of where I grew and I learned the most. I was only there for about 3 or 4 years, but it was where I saw the most amount of skin, if you like, because you're doing treatments and you're doing constant back-to-back treatments. And while some people think, oh my goodness, that's a lot, actually no, it's the best place to start. But it was there that I kind of got this interest in the skin and the ingredients, and I was like, actually, I really have this thirst for knowledge, more than what I was getting from a brand or more than what I was getting at that time. So I was like, right, okay, I need to go into education, but that wasn't an opportunity at that time. So I went into spa management, and that took me all over the world. And I have to say that was an amazing opportunity. But it was when I went to work for a skincare brand that was the most transformation in my career. And when I look back on it today, it's where I was involved in product development. It was where I was designing treatments. It was where I was actually on QVC, which I can't believe now that I was on QVC for 20 years. But all of those opportunities came, and I just embraced every single challenge. But along the way, little by little, there was this thread coming through that I was obsessed with skincare. And in particular, I was obsessed with the skin and the ingredients. And I think I had an amazing opportunity because I got to make products for the brand. I also had an amazing opportunity. I was working with scientists, so I could actually ask scientists, I've seen this on the internet, or I've seen this, and I would actually have that first-hand opportunity to say, is this true? Is this right? Is this how the skin works? They didn't quite like my analogies of Maltesers and popcorn and everything else that I came up with, but it was that kind of really cemented skincare and ingredients and how the skin works.
So really kind of getting down to that grassroots level and getting that knowledge of the science behind the ingredients. And I think that's so important, isn't it? And that's something that has really come to the fore in recent years, that more and more people are getting interested in, and more and more consumers, I suppose, are getting interested in that. Yeah,
and I think I was really lucky. I mean, obviously, I had various roles within working for various different brands, and I was very lucky. I was a sales director. My last role before I set my consultancy was global education director. And the one thing that I remember is that I was obsessed with getting that role as global education director. Like, it was my obsession. It was the one thing that I wanted. And actually, I soon realised that all the challenges that you have here in the UK are actually the same challenges all the way around the world. And that was when I was like, do you know what? I really want to set up my own consultancy and help entrepreneurs, because I miss that ability to, be agile and adaptive. When you work for a big corporation, it's like trying to turn Titanic round. There's a lot of protocols and things like that you have to do. So for me, it was really exciting to be able to go and work with really small independent entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and to go it alone, which is always daunting, I guess, when you first do it, right?
Very scary. I had moments where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But you just have to believe in yourself. And I think that's the one thing that I would say to anybody. If you're thinking about going it alone, just believe in yourself, because you've got to back yourself. Otherwise, no one else will.
100%. So now that you've got your own consultancy, what's a typical day like for you now? You obviously work with loads of different people, loads of different brands, and training. What sort of thing do you do day to day?
I mean, I think that's the best bit about my job, is that I don't have a typical day. So I could be one day in the offices of a brand, but the next day I could be working on a project that's extremely confidential that requires me to be working from home. But equally, I can be in a treatment room designing treatments, and then I can also be teaching beauty professionals in skincare advancements, in technology and ingredients, and upskilling training teams. So it's really, really varied. And then on the side hustle, I do a little bit of content creation.
Absolutely, and you've made an amazing name for yourself on Instagram and on YouTube and everywhere. It's like, and it's not an easy thing to do.
It's not.
But I was going to ask, as someone who has worked across so many different areas and continues to work across so many different areas of the industry, what advice would you give to beauty therapists or business owners out there who want to expand their career, who want to get into something new and do, you know, a broader range of things in their career, whether that's content creation, training, mentoring, working for themselves?
I would say my number one tip is be hungry for knowledge. The more knowledge you have, the more you can succeed, the more you'll be versatile. But also don't turn down any opportunities that come. Even if they're in the little back of your mind going, where's that going to take me? Is that going to be worthwhile? And a good example of this is QVC. I swore I would never go on QVC. I did not like cameras. I was like, there's no way I could do it. And then I am a yes person. I say yes to everything, gets me in trouble. And I said to my boss at the time, I'll go for the audition, but I don't guarantee that I'm gonna pass. So, you know, I'm just putting it out there. And I passed, and I was like, what?
You're like, no, I've got to do it.
But going on QVC was the best thing I could have ever done, because it allowed me how to present. So it taught me how to present. It also taught me an enormous amount about consumers, and that was the missing piece I had in every role that I did. I thought I knew the consumer, but when you're on QVC, you're talking to millions. So you're understanding on a vast note, and you learn things like words that you say on a day-to-day basis that actually somebody doesn't connect with, and you've been saying it for years. So there was so much I learned that actually that was the best thing I ever did in my career.
Yeah, because I guess at QVC you're probably tracking, you know, second by second, if you like, people's reactions to what you're saying, aren't you? And whether they're buying as a result of it.
It's fascinating. There's a Rob Jr. It's like peaks and troughs, if you like, and it tracks everything you say. So, for example, if you say the word gel, for example, now I don't think there's anything wrong in the word gel, but believe it or not, the consumer does not link to gel. They think sticky, they don't think very pleasant, whereas if I just turned that around and said it's a light, cool, fresh serum,
they're all over it.
So it was amazing. I learned so much, and I'm forever grateful. And I did that for 20 years, so it became a big part of my career.
But also so useful for then day-to-day work after that, isn't it? I mean, great for kind of how people buy and retailing to people in the salon. Because it's another thing I was going to ask about, actually. Obviously, you've trained people in retailing, and it is a bit of a stumbling block, as we know, for lots of therapists out there who don't want to feel like they're pushy or like they're really kind of selling. What did your time at QVC teach you, or what have you sort of learned throughout your career about how to kind of make that connection and sell without being pushy, I suppose?
I mean, I think we can all say we've all been on various retail sales courses, and there's always the 7 steps, and it always starts with the meet and it always ends with the closing of the sale. And I now teach retail sales, and the one thing that I say to people is that you can do all of those 7 steps, but if you miss the one piece of information, which is about that client's skin, and you understand their skin, and you engage with them, and you interact with them, and you connect with them, and you show them what's happening with their skin, then they can make that decision. But if you're just going to go, this is the cleanser, this is the toner, this is what I'm using, this is what I'd recommend, without actually really linking it to her skin and what's happening, then it's irrelevant, and she's never going to buy. So it is something that I'm quite passionate about, because I think we've all been on so many of those retail sales courses where it's like, you must smile and greet. And it's like, come on, of course we're going to smile and greet people. It's a lot more than that.
Yeah. And you're so right. It's about that connection with that individual, isn't it?
It is.
And that's such a difficult thing to teach. So obviously you're doing a good job of it, but it's so hard to kind of, to train that into somebody. It's in a way something you have or you don't have, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And obviously you've got a great following on social media, as we mentioned, and you do an amazing job of staying on top of the trends, both skincare trends and social media trends, while also maintaining integrity. And again, I think that's a difficult balance to strike sometimes. What are your kind of do's and don'ts of social media? Are there any things that you look out for in terms of making sure you're embracing the trends, but also staying true to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head. The most important thing is stay true to yourself. Don't look at other people and go, oh, they're really outgoing, I need to be more outgoing. People buy and people connect with people with integrity. And I think be yourself, make sure that you are connecting with people, and also take the time to engage and connect. Every comment, make sure you follow up and be helping them. I think that's the biggest thing, is that in an industry that's so fast moving, but also that there are so many skin influencers all over TikTok and Instagram and things like that, that it's really hard to kind of find your place. But I think trust your knowledge. You're the person that's got all of the knowledge. You're the person that, people really can actually benefit from following you. So I think, yeah, it's really important. And be consistent. Don't just post one day and then do what they say, which is called ghosting. So you literally put your post up and you pat yourself on the back and go, yay, I've posted. It's
Post
a
and
lot
ghost.
more. Yeah, it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so important, and it's such a difficult thing to do. I think we all start with those good intentions of posting to a schedule regularly, but it's just, being dedicated, isn't it? And can you share any specific tips about how you've grown your following? Is there any kind of content that you think works really well for skin professionals? What are the sort of key things to do?
Yeah, I think sometimes I overthink it. So sometimes I think, oh, nobody wants to hear about a classic skin tip that we would all know. And I think don't make it too overcomplicated, because some of the ones that I know that have over 100,000 reaches and views have been of the things that you and I all know and take for granted. So sometimes just don't overthink it, but also take the opportunity to really review. If you've got an idea, the best way that I can recommend is, if you've got an idea, use Instagram like you would Google, and put in your idea into Instagram in the search bar, and it will show you, did any of that content go viral? And if it did, then you're onto something. But if it didn't, then maybe you just need to tweak it a little bit. Maybe it's a bit more complicated. Sometimes the easiest concepts are the best ones.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good tip, I think, to actually look at what other people have posted. And if you've got an idea, someone else might have tried it and it's just not working, then rethink your idea. Absolutely.
And it might be that it just needed tweaking, and maybe it was just a bit too complicated. But otherwise than that, quite often, just trust your knowledge. I think that's the biggest thing you can do.
100%. And I think that's something, again, that probably skin specialists and beauty professionals on the whole out there struggle with. We know that there's been a big rise in influencers who aren't necessarily from a beauty therapy background. So when you are posting on social media and when you are trying to get your voice out there among all that kind of content, what would be your tips for sort of making sure people are aware that you actually do have that knowledge and you're not just another one of these kind of beauty influencers that has decided to get into it but may not have the training? How can you kind of get that across and cut through the noise out there?
Yeah, I think one thing I would say is, if you look at all the dermatologists, the first thing they say is, I'm a qualified board certified dermatologist. It's the first thing they say. So that almost gives somebody who doesn't know you, that brings that element of trust. So I think if you are setting out and you're trying to build this, I think you don't need to do it every single time, but consistently, I would say, just make sure you're reminding your audience that you are qualified and that you have trained and that you are the expert, because I think that's the difference.
Yeah, and that's a really good point as well, because not everybody's going to be a follower. They might just come across your post and it's just having that instant, this is who I am.
Exactly.
It's really important, definitely. Obviously, you're very well known for your knowledge of skin function and ingredients and your passion for education. So what is one thing that you wish that every beauty therapist fully understood about skin health?
So I was really thinking about this, and I was thinking there is so many trends and there's so many things that are happening, but the one thing that even if we fast track 2 or 3 years, inflammaging is going to be huge. You're starting to see it already, but inflammaging is what is going to be. So we're talking a lot about skin barrier, we're talking about a lot about skin health, but underneath all of that, and the worst bit for us as professionals is that we typically see inflammaging as redness, but actually right now, you and I both could have inflammaging and we can't see it. So, and that's because it's bubbling away under the skin, but it's causing a lot of damage. So it's where skin scanners and things like that come in so good, because they see what's underneath your skin and they see what's coming. So for me, skin inflammaging is going to be huge.
Okay, amazing. And you're a big believer in skin scanners, are you? Do you think that every salon should use them?
I'm a huge, I think they're incredible, because I think what they do is they also show you what's coming underneath the skin that the naked eye can't see. So I do think that, and also I think consumers want to see that as well. It's part of their investment into their skincare, and it's how they really can appreciate, okay, what you're doing to them on a weekly, monthly basis is working towards the health of their skin.
Yeah, and it's showing that proof, I suppose. You know, it's that before and after type proof, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. And we've touched a little bit on trends. You know, there's always a new trend in skincare, TikTok trends out there, slugging, skin cycling, all of these sorts of things. And now particularly AI-generated skincare routines. What's your take on these sorts of trends? Which ones do you back and which ones do you wish would disappear?
Okay, so no surprising, I don't back beef tallow or eating garlic or rubbing garlic on your face or ice cubes. Ice cubes, what? When did ice cubes get rid of lines and wrinkles? I'm like, if only, otherwise I would be rubbing an ice.
I'd be bathing in ice.
I would literally be having an ice cube every day on my lines and wrinkles. But do you know the one trend that I actually quite like is skin minimalism, and that's the trend that I probably back. There isn't a lot of trends that I back because I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, here we go again. And the worst ones are the mixing in your kitchen and taking ingredients and going, oh, I've seen that caffeine's in all the eye creams, so I'm going to put caffeine underneath my eyes. There's absolutely no way that caffeine put on the surface of your skin is going to have any impact on your dark circles. So I think that for me, there's an element of you know, trust science. I am all about science-backed skincare. But in terms of trends, I do really like the skin minimalism because it's becoming a little bit of an obsession for some people, and that's how they are damaging their skin, because they're like doing 10 layers and they're mixing actives. So I think that's probably the best thing that's come out of those kind of trends.
So kind of stripping back that skincare routine, keeping it simple, and again, not self-prescribing to a degree, I suppose, as well, because you touched on the overuse of actives and too much exfoliation and these sorts of things that people are really damaging their skin with at the moment. Do you see a lot of that out there with the consumers? I
think so, but I also do see skincare a bit like fashion. So it kind of goes in trends. So if you think about it, retinol right now obviously has been quite big for a few years. But if you think about it, it was big in 1996. It had its huge big kind of mid-90s, late 90s. It was really trendy again to use. So I do kind of feel like we do go in circles when it comes to, but people are overusing all of those ingredients, and that's where I think it's really important to trust the professionals, and that's where AI comes into it. AI, I think, is really exciting, but I am nervous because it doesn't replace the fact that you can't touch the skin and you can't see the skin. So for me, I love the fact that AI can help people maybe from a beginner level that maybe, you know, isn't coming into a salon or into a clinic, and they can get maybe some basic good advice, but it definitely can't replace that hands-on and that actual seeing and that understanding of the skin. So I think it's exciting, but I think, you know, we need to stand firm that we need to touch your skin and we need to see your skin in real life.
Yeah. And do you think maybe more of a tandem approach then? You know, it's using AI to back up what you're doing, never to replace kind of thing?
Yeah, it's funny because I did a post a while ago and I said to people that, you know, if you have really great lighting, your skin can look amazing. I mean, you can take 10 years off your skin. The amount of people that said to me, no, my skin looks better now than it did. And I was like, it's because you've got a ring light in front. It's just not
You've got a much better camera than you did 10 years ago. You've got a ring light,
The makeup, you know, the makeup that we were using wasn't as good 10 years ago. Your camera lighting wasn't as good. We all weren't walking around with ring lights and, you know, so I think it's important to remember that.
Absolutely. But obviously, I mean, your skin still looks amazing. It has always looked amazing. What's your skincare routine? What are the kind of ingredients and the products that you can't live without?
So I am obsessive, and those that know me know that I am very obsessive. But the thing that I am so passionate about is understand your skin and then understand the ingredients that will deliver what you want. Try to block out all the noise of all the trends and things like that and really focus on, and the skincare industry is amazing now. You think about all the things that are happening, like we've had, peptides around for a while, but now we're seeing mini proteins, we're seeing exosomes, we're seeing ingredients that are actually docking into the receptor cells rather than bouncing outside.
Yeah.
And that's great. Peptides are amazing, but a lot of them are bouncing around outside, and they're not necessarily, I call them personal trainers, because they're like somebody in your ear telling you to do more sit-ups. You don't necessarily want to do it, but you're going to do it while they're there. And the thing is that the skincare is really advancing, and that's what's really exciting, because I feel like we had a bit of a lull where nothing really was coming through, and I think that's maybe why retinol came back in trend and why peptides have come back again, because you think about it, none of those ingredients are really new.
Yeah, no, true. That's really interesting. And I suppose with the recent kind of rise of exosomes and polynucleotides and skin boosters, are you excited around those kinds of things then? Do you think that this is where people should be focusing at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. I think there is so much more to come as well, and I think we're going to see so much more of those exosomes and those ingredients that are really kind of making a massive difference coming into skincare, which is really exciting. And I think that's the piece for me that's kind of the most exciting, is that there's a lot more to come, and we're literally at the beginning of this big kind of journey. So kind of get clued up on exosomes, get clued up on epigenetics. Epigenetics is one of the most exciting things to happen in the industry, because it's really about, for the first time ever, being able to go, okay, we know how your skin has aged, but now let's actually tackle that aging. I refer to it a bit like driving a car. Like if you have a brand new car, you drive that car and you love that car, but you hit a pothole or you drive it in really kind of icy conditions, and little by little that car gets damaged and eroded. It's a bit like your skin. So, but this time we're allowing our skin to be able to take our skin back, and I think that's what epigenetics is so exciting about.
Absolutely, really exciting. And what about the more device side of the industry? Are there any kind of technologies that you're excited about at the moment?
Oh, good question. I mean, I am a big fan of technology. I think our hands are amazing, and we should never lose touch with our hands, but having that technology to kind of bring and back up what we can do is really exciting. But yeah, I love this industry. I think it's fascinating. I think it's incredible, and I think we can make such a big difference to people.
Definitely. And there's so much development, as we can see throughout the show today. There's just so many new things launched all the time.
I know, I can't wait to have a big look and have a really good look.
And one other thing I wanted to touch on is skin barrier repair. That's been a big hot topic recently. There's lots of people, again, on social, but also, out in the industry talking about skin barrier repair. Do you think that is here to stay? Do you think this is a trend? I think it's something that people are really focusing on with things like ceramides and microbiome-friendly products. What are your views on that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely here to stay. I think because we've seen the trend of retinols and we've seen what people have done to their skin, it's absolutely definitely here to stay. And I'm thrilled about that, because I'm sure, sitting here with lots of fellow therapists, I'm sure you're all fed up of repairing people's skin barriers. I think that's the challenge in our industry, is getting our clients to make sure that they listen to our voices. And if they see something that they like, almost get them to come and check in with you and go, even if they've seen, a dermatologist or they've seen whoever on TikTok or Instagram, it's like, come back to us and just check if it's right for your skin. So it's maybe not right. I mean, we know that there's no two skins alike. So what's right for one person isn't. But yeah, I think skin barrier is here to stay, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people are, like we said before, people are aware now that they're perhaps using products that haven't worked for their skin or have damaged their skin. So they're now having
absolutely.
to
And I think for therapists, it's important that, retinol might be amazing for one person, but it might not be right for another person. So it's trying to be like, okay, don't be so blinkered and go, okay, well, I'm never going to use retinol on anyone because it didn't do well for one client. It is amazing. and on the right skin, it can deliver incredible results.
Absolutely. And that's just made me think, because obviously there's been some kind of controversy about young people getting into, kids really starting to use retinol, teenagers. What's your sort of advice to consumers out there or to parents out there where they have teenage kids that are really interested in skincare and they want to get into skincare and they might be choosing the wrong products? Where should those kids and those parents be looking? What sort of products are right to get them started?
Yeah, I mean, they really do only need a gentle cleanser and a moisturizer with an SPF. I mean, if you can get them just to put an SPF on that's really good in moisturizing, that's all they need at that stage. And I think if for any parent or anybody that's thinking about, I would say take your young person or your tween or your teenager, take them to a professional and let them look at their skin, because that's the biggest problem. They're doing more damage than good. And the amount of people that have people contact me and say, my daughter or my son, can you help me? They've bought this and now their skin is worse. Yeah. So I think just invest that introduction, whether it be a consultation, whether it be a facial, whatever it is, that half an hour or an hour could be complete changing their skin for the future.
And that's a really valuable thing for skin professionals to be doing now, I think, isn't it? Because traditionally in salons, a lot of people have not really treated under 16s, or it's been that kind of, that's the ethos of the salon. But there's so much potential now to get in there early with these young people that are obsessed with skincare and need that professional advice.
And they're spending their money, so don't be fooled thinking, oh, they haven't got the money, because I don't know where they're getting the money from, but they're spending a lot of money and on expensive products as well.
Yeah, and they will spend their own. I mean, I've got a teenage niece, and she will spend her own birthday money. She will save up and she will invest it in Sephora. Absolutely. And if you could change one thing about the skincare industry overnight, what would it be?
I would say, and this is something I'm very passionate about, is give more credibility to therapists.
Absolutely.
It really pains me when I hear the word beautician. It's like a stab in my heart. And I don't know where it starts. I don't know if it starts right back at college, whether we need to change the way people are being taught, the name of the courses, whether it's the word beauty therapy, I don't know. We need to give the recognition, because after all, we see massively in the UK now the rise of dermatologists. And you think about what we're all doing and how much we are so close to the skin, that for me, that's the one thing that I would love to see, is more recognition going to therapists.
Yeah, and you're right, maybe it does start back in the colleges, because there is also the danger, there's more competition, I suppose, out there. There's exciting treatments coming out there, and certain ones of them I think the medical community are doing and are kind of trying to keep for themselves, whereas actually a lot of the time skin professionals are very qualified to do those sorts of things.
Yeah, exactly. So I think more recognition, because it's so well deserved. I've got a very big skincare launch that I'm working behind the scenes. So quite often my role is that I'll go into a brand and I will advise that brand on how to launch or how to communicate. So quite often I'm not necessarily the face, where I was the face of a brand for many years, whereas I'm actually quite enjoying that. I'm quite enjoying kind of like going, well, the consumer thinks like this, so, you need to position the launch like this, and these are all the mechanical things that you need to do to launch that. I'm also redesigning for a very big spa their whole treatment menu and designing lots of brand new treatments for them and exclusive treatments, really kind of pushing the boundaries of what treatments can be like and really offering results-driven solutions. So I'm also working on that. And then I'm working with a lovely, lovely team at the moment to really kind of push them. They are a team of educators, and I'm kind of upskilling them. So so it's really exciting, and I'm quite glad to just be in the UK this year. Last year I was in Australia a lot, which was amazing, but this year I'm really glad to just be in the UK.
Have a bit more close to home. What have you been doing overseas? Tell us a little bit more about your project.
In Australia, I helped launch a retail brand into Australia. I think because my role was Global Education Director, so I had lots of experience in those markets. So for me, it's very easy for me to guide a brand and say what to do, and I understand all those markets. So yeah, it was launching a retail brand, which is very exciting.
Amazing. And now you're back on home turf, doing
Yes, I
brand
love it.
development, training, educating, and a little bit of everything. And does anybody have any questions for Fiona before we wrap up?
Thanks, Fiona, for all your expertise that you shared so far. I would love to ask, what skills do you wish you had developed earlier in your career?
Oh, good. That's a really good one. So there's a couple of things that if I was to tell my younger self, I first of all would tell my younger self that I need to be aware of my work-life balance. I became obsessive, particularly in my 30s. I definitely had that wrong. So I would definitely be telling my younger self to have a better work-life balance. I would also really kind of think about the opportunities that I know now. I did a lot of courses. Any course that came up, I was the first one to sign up for, and I was the first one to go. And I did a lot of my own research as well. But I think, if I was telling my younger self, I would say just take every opportunity that comes. I became a bit, I guess, some people could say I stayed too long in one brand. Some people can say, actually, it was amazing. You gave lots of opportunities. But I definitely would say to my younger self, make sure that you seize those opportunities and you keep progressing and you keep moving on.
Thank you so much, Fiona. It's been really, really interesting to hear a bit more about your career and about, obviously, your skincare knowledge and experience. It's been really great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.